All right, what's up, everybody? We are
Live.
live. All right, well, for those of you who are watching right now, you have Brandon and Sarah. We are part of the Harmonious Duo, and we are stoked to be in front of you today. We've got some powerful stuff that's going to help. That's going to help you maybe deliver your message about your product or service to your audience in a new, profound way. I mean, the things that we found in the beginning stages of our business, the things we were doing wrong, the things we were doing right, we all want to be able to share those with you. And one of the biggest problems or obstacles, I don't really like the word problem. One of the biggest challenges, perfect, that we were able to come across in the beginning stages of our business. And even now, as there's more social media sites that are coming out, as there's new and updated platforms that are being released, it's kind of difficult as a new person in business to know, where do I begin? What do I do to get myself in front of the right audience?
Yeah. So, I mean, most likely, as you said, like as a new person coming into building your business and you see all of these, you know that social media is a great way to help build your business. But then, like he said, you look at all the sites that they have and you get a little overwhelmed, and then you think, okay, crack some knuckles. All right, let's get to work, and we'll just attack every single site, because, your main objective is obviously to increase your exposure, to build your, the awareness level for your business, your product, or your service. And so, you're most likely at this point in time using every single social media site you can get your hands on to promote your business, product, or service on, thinking like that's a good idea, that's going to be beneficial to your business.
Right. And that's
obviously from the that's not correct.
Not even close. Not even close. And one of the biggest things that one of the greatest or grandest things that we've learned from the people that we've been able to follow has been what taught us this. And I'm kind of I don't want to give away too much, but I know that I was just listening to it just recently, and when we first started promoting our opportunity, our business, our service, we hit it hard. I'm talking about we hit it every single thing that was out there where we could sign up, put our email, create a profile, and put content out there. That was what we were doing. We hit every single thing in the beginning. And come to find out that added a lot more work than what we needed to do, and it didn't bring any results that were were our intentions.
No, not at all. And if anything, more the point was the fact that it just wore us out. Like, it just drained us mentally. Not even the fact that it created more work for us, but more so because the fact that work not only wasn't bringing results, but it just drained us mentally and emotionally. And it kind of brought like our mojo down a little bit, because we were exerting so much effort and so much energy into all these social media sites, thinking like, this is how you do it, this is what we were under the impression this is what you do, but gosh, like, this is so much work, and like, we're not getting any results.
There was nothing happening. There was no engagement on multiple platforms. There was zero respondents. Okay. And so before we get into the content for today, some of you out there who are watching this have no clue who Sarah and I are. And so, to give you a little bit of background information, just so you can feel a little comfortable, we're entrepreneurs, right? We're right in front of you. And we had zero internet experience, zero network marketing experience, zero online business experience as of about 18 months ago. And a lot of people, when we share that with them, they don't believe it. They're like, hold on, well, so you're saying that you had no previous experience with building anything online 18 months ago? And that's exactly what we're saying. We're
not trying to downplay anything so that we can, seem more approachable or whatever the case may be. I mean, we're being completely 100% legit. Zero.
I hated the computer.
Zilch. Oh my gosh. That's like a whole nother hangout, like, in and of itself. Anytime if he could outsource a computer task to me, he totally would. Sarah, will you send this email? Sarah, will you type this up for me? Sarah, can you
I didn't enjoy it. It was very confusing. It was daunting. It was like overwhelming. I thought that I was a smart guy. I thought that I was a man who knew what he knew. And I'm sure a lot of people watching that, you feel like, oh, I know what I know, until you get put into a challenge.
Well, plus, Max, let's be honest here. It's also because the fact that he thought the computer was like out to get him. Because every time he would get on the computer, like, he would say, oh my gosh, like, this is happening, or this is not happening. Sarah,
and it's only happening to me.
Can you come look and help me fix it? And then as soon as I would come and help him, like, whatever it was he thought the computer was doing or wasn't doing, it wasn't doing it anymore. And so I'm looking at him like, honey, the computer's being perfectly normal. And he would just get so infuriated and frustrated. It was actually kind of funny.
And there's no reason to go through those kind of things. The biggest struggle that I found out personally, because she's a little bit more computer inclined than I am, she was able to take advantage of things that I wasn't, and learn things faster. And so I thought, okay, well, we're on the same team, we're partners. She could do this for me, really. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to distract your partner. You don't want to distract people who are your sponsor or people who are your coaches. You don't want to distract them from things that you could figure out on your own. Okay. And the things that we figured out on our own are the stuff that we're going to share with you today. And the biggest thing, and she hates when I would use the word biggest and biggest and biggest. So I'm just going to keep reiterating and just say biggest. The biggest thing that we were able to do is figure out from a mentor who's been able to build businesses from scratch, take things that have never had life before and project them in front of the right people, the right way, with the right message, so that he can build that brand into a, I don't want to give numbers, but into a very successful business. And one of the things that he taught us was that was to not, and you're hearing this, right, was to not take what you have, one article or one content or one piece of information, and just like layer it out there and just spray it on the internet on every single platform at the same time. So when we say, a lot of people who got into this hangout are going to think, well, why would it be bad to promote our business online?
Yeah, well, especially because if you've been tuning into any of our previous hangouts where we talk about blogging, you know, we mentioned that, you know, your job isn't over just because you published an article or a post. You have to go through the syndication process. So it's not like we're it's if you've been paying attention to those and you come and you listen to us right now, it's not that we're saying the syndication process is bad. What we're saying is why promoting on every social media site is bad for your business. Like, just ultimately in the big picture is because of the fact that, one, I just totally brain froze. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a bunch of reasons, but I mean,
it's bad for it's bad because like for example, taking the blog post. If I were to take a blog post and syndicate it right onto Facebook, to Pinterest, to Instagram, to Twitter, to YouTube, like every other bajillion social media sites out there, most likely what you most likely do is to make the process easier on yourself is you're saying the same thing on each one of those sites. Now, of course, you know that on Twitter, you kind of have to like maximize that space because you have like a small amount of window real estate to work with, but you're ultimately saying the exact same thing. You're using the same text to promote the same post across every single one of your platforms at the same time. And the reason why that's bad is because, one, you're wasting tons of time and energy and effort because while you're sitting here syndicating the exact and promoting the exact same content for the exact same post, using the exact same text to incentivize your readers to go on and click through to do whatever it is you want them to do, what you're doing is you're basically talking to no one. And we'll cover a little bit more about what we mean by that.
And that's painful when you're in business for yourself and you just put out an awesome post and you know that if someone would just see this, I could end up getting somebody into my business, right?
And it doesn't necessarily mean like just sticking with blog posts. This can go for promotions for your products, promotions for your services, like behind the scenes updates, things like that. This is like across the spectrum when it comes to your social media stuff. This isn't just for blog posts. So that's something that I also want you guys to grasp, is that this is far more widespread than just.
That's exactly what we're saying. Because if you take if you for instance use YouTube right now, and we love making videos, we love our YouTube account, but if you share your YouTube video to Google Plus or to Twitter from your YouTube page, did you know that it actually brands YouTube? It takes away your personal branding. It doesn't even say, like, it'll give your title of the video and possibly a shortened link.
Yeah.
And then it'll say YouTube, basically like via YouTube. So there's no sense of, okay, well, this person just put it out for me or for this group of people that are on Twitter, because it looks as if you're just saving time. It looks as if you're just kind of.
Well, it kind of also looks like you're just sharing a regular YouTube video, not
exactly.
your YouTube video, but just a YouTube video.
Exactly.
And what's special about a YouTube video versus yours?
Exactly. And you don't want to. It's just difficult to do that. And the same thing happens if you share it from what have I noticed from any social media sharing. It brands that platform that you're sharing it from, which is definitely not what you want to do when you're trying to brand yourself and separate from everybody else who has free platforms. Because
like when you connect, because you know how Twitter and Facebook can like allow you to interconnect. It's the same thing. So if you interconnect your social media sites thinking it's going to save you time, which I mean technically it does save you time, but it costs you more time in the long run, because one, every time that you post something on Twitter and it sends it to your Facebook, you're saying the exact same thing. You're cross-pollinating and cross-promoting the exact same stuff creating duplicate content for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, and so what we decided to take as a measure of what we decided to do as basically a plan of attack was to master, and this is one thing that we were learning, was to master one platform at a time. Now, people hearing this, your stomach might have tightened up and said, oh my gosh, I got everything on everything right now though, right? And that's exactly why we want you to stop. We encourage you to just stop doing that. And we'll go into more detail in a second on why we still encourage you to promote on multiple medias, but don't do it at the same time with the same message.
And have a almost like you want to have almost like a little totem pole as far as your social media sites go. So you want to have your most important one, the one that you are going to choose to master and focus the majority of your time on at the top of that list, and then go down to the remaining social media sites you're connected on. That's what we're talking about mastering. We're not talking about just deleting all of your other accounts and just having one singular site to promote on, because that would just be
that would be ridiculous. That would be really bad.
What we're saying is have a main focal site that you want to master while you're simply accessing other sites. And once you've mastered that platform, which we'll talk more about in just a second, then you move on to the next and you just go down the totem pole.
And people might be wondering, a good question to ask yourself is, how do I master a social media platform? And the best answer that we can give you is to find a mentor who's doing what you're doing, purchase their products. It's plain and simple, because I mean, every leader out there is going to have a product, or at least be able to point you in a direction of a product. And those products are going to get you there. Hopefully they're not just wasteful products, because then that would be a bad mentor to follow. Everybody that we've been able to follow has given us things that, or shared with us products that will help our business. So by us learning these things, how to master these platforms that are changing every single day, that allows our business to grow. That's why we're here in front of you right now, is because these things that we're sharing with you are stuff that we learned from products that we purchased ourselves.
Yeah,
which is why it's
not like we don't have any skin in this game here, people. We've
put a lot of money,
several investments into mastering our platforms, into doing what we need to do to best position our brand for our business where it should be branded. So we're not coming to you guys saying like, oh, you need to go buy stuff, and us, sit here and be like, haha, they had to go buy stuff and we didn't. No, we have invested a lot into our education.
And the reason why we're here is because we know that you can see results immediately taking the stuff that we're teaching you and start to gain more, more income, more leads, more business, more followings, whatever it is that you're looking for. If you implement what we're teaching you, you're going to be able to get that. And that's going to save you time and money. And that makes us feel extremely good. Okay. Because I mean,
especially him, like me, I'm more like time. He's more of the money. And so when you put it together, we're like,
this is amazing. Right. And so what's the better way? What's the better way to market on social media?
Well, one of the first things that is so crucial for especially new, if you're on this hangout and you're new, I want to kind of like laser in on you right now. One of the first things that you can do to set yourself on the better path to promoting and building that brand awareness and stuff like that is recognizing native content for your sites. Okay. Every single social media site, it's so easy. Like, if you're coming just as like from a user of social media to an entrepreneur looking to utilize social media, there's two totally different mindsets that occur as a user of social media versus an entrepreneur tapping into social media. And typically a user of social media is just going to, they're just going to be just that. They're going to use social media without fully understanding what that specific social media platform is really designed for, about, and how you're supposed to speak to them. Every social media site has its own what's called native content and native speaking language, meaning Facebook was designed for a specific type of interaction. It was designed for a specific type of user experience. And there's a specific type of language, or like, general lingo that people who use Facebook really resonate with. And Facebook has done tons of research to figure out exactly who and what, like, who these people are and how they like to be spoken to, which is why they're as successful as they are. Versus if you were to go to Twitter, you'll see Twitter is completely different. Its platform is totally different. The way people communicate on it is completely night and day from Facebook.
It really
is much more fast-paced, interactive,
short,
like to the second.
Short form content.
It's very much like scroll content. Does that make sense? Because what is it? There's like, if you were to go onto Twitter right now, every second there's like at least 42 to 50 or 100 new tweets coming in, if not way more.
Depending on how many followers you have.
Exactly. Because the fact Twitter is literally by the second, because it's a much more fast-paced, engaged audience, whereas Facebook is different. Versus if you were to look at Pinterest, you see that Pinterest has its own complete different platform, way of speaking to its audience and how it resonates with them. And if you were to take every individual social media site out there and put them like side by side, you'll see that they are so completely different. And that's what distinguishes a user of social media versus an entrepreneur tapping into social media, because the entrepreneur recognizes that how you speak to someone on Facebook is not what's going to work to someone that you want to try and talk to on Twitter. Just like how you speak to someone on Twitter will not resonate with someone that you attempt to speak to on Pinterest, because they're all coming from their own languages. It would be like me going to Germany, attempting to speak
Russian.
Attempting to speak Russian to a German, while I then transfer from Germany to Japan and try to speak Filipino to Japanese people. They all have their own unique language, because they all have their own way of resonating with people in their native area. That's how you have to approach these platform sites, is recognizing they have their own native content and recognizing how to speak with that native content.
And to go into deeper detail about how you can, see success with this strategy, is to figure out who exactly is following you, who exactly is engaging with you, and who's your actual target market. Because once you mix both those together and you say, okay, well, I'm going to create this native content on this specific platform, take it one step further and chuck it down and say, okay, well, who am I talking to on this specific platform? Because you could have actually the same followers, right? You could have, like, say, the same followers on all different platforms. Some of them, because of the way you worded it on each platform, are going to respond heavily more than others. So you could actually have, just for example, say you had 5 people on each different platform, and you only were sending this message out to those 5 people specifically on every platform. You would actually get a higher engagement rate on some than others, even though it's the same message to the same people. It's because of how you're able to, like she said, talk in specifics to that actual customer. So if I have a post and a majority of my followers are, say, musicians, okay? I'm going to tap into that. I'm not going to just say anything about business that might help them. I'm going to specifically ask them, are you in front of your customers, or do your customers know about your new release? Or is your new debut single going to be out? How are you promoting your offer? How are you doing this? I'm going to specifically ask a question to that market.
Well, and it's also, that's a good point that he brought up, but it's also, it's not just like the type of question you use or ask based off of your audience. It's also the way you present it. Like, for example, if you, here's a good example. Say like you've decided, okay, well, I want to do Facebook and I want to do Instagram. Those are the 2 that I want to focus on, and that's it. Okay, so say, for example, you have a business where you help musicians, like Brandon was saying. And so you want to do, you're going out and you're helping musicians brand themselves and just bring more followers into their base, so that obviously they can increase their CD sales and their concert sales, things like that. Okay, well, what would happen if you went to Facebook? Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are 2 totally different platforms, because one, Instagram is more of an artsy, indie like kind of artsy indie vibe. They heavily resonate with images. They give you a space to do text, but they're really all about the visual. They like to do things from a what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure. Visual?
From an avant-garde kind of standpoint. So
yeah, I don't think anybody knows what that means. So it's okay.
Okay.
Go
ahead. So if you were to like chunk down that, it would be like from a completely different perspective than what you would perceive from a business person. So what they do is they take like a posting of an image for musicians, and instead of just blasting the person playing their guitar, right, on Instagram, which is what like everybody would do for a musician, they would maybe come at it, because they know they're going to put this on Instagram, take the picture from a different angle, use a different lighting, maybe do a type of picture that other musicians maybe wouldn't do. Maybe instead of having a picture of the person playing their guitar.
Mind you, she is not in the music industry or the business,
I'm not
so whatever.
at all.
Okay, so just sorry.
So these are just very general
yourself.
examples and ideas. I'm not saying like, but anyway, but maybe you would consider doing like a slanted angle of the guitar going down the neck, so they have an intense view, like a very detailed view of the strings, and maybe like you see the fingers. Like that's a different angle, right? That's a different view. And Instagram likes different, as long as it's mainly focused on the visual. Okay. Now within the text, of course, you would maybe come at it from, since you're focusing on music, you would want to come at it as though you're speaking to, musician lovers. So you wouldn't use like business text. You wouldn't use like a whole lot of business terminology, because they're not going to understand that. They would resonate with them if you came at them as though you're having like a general conversation, like, hey,
how many sales did you have in your last concert?
New album coming out May 2016. Can't wait to drop it. Tell me if you're super excited about it. The first 500 who comment get a free copy. Something like that maybe. And then play up the music inspirational factor. Whereas if you were to go onto Facebook, you could use maybe that same image, but you would use a totally different language. Right? On Facebook, you might be able to get away with using a bit more of a mixture between the artsy versus the entrepreneur, because there's a major mix of both audiences on that platform. Does that make sense? If not, feel free to leave us a question. And
Well, I think that so basically the biggest thing is to make sure that you're not only writing native content for your platform, but to write native content for your customers, because you don't want to mix and match and talk. Once you try and talk to everybody, you talk to nobody and your message gets lost. That's, I think, the essence of what you were trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
So another source that we were able to find was to help us through the social media obstacle was jab, jab, right hook from Gary Vaynerchuk. And that book right there, if you're not familiar with that book, it's going to change the way that you do social media for your business.
This should be your Bible when it comes to social media, guys, just FYI.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see what he's done for everybody and how easy he's been able to lay it out. And when you take advantage of what he's been able to teach you, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in today's Hangout comes directly from that book.
Yeah, and you'll see he gives great examples. Not only does he break down the major popular platforms on social media, but he breaks down how they operate in terms of language, how they operate in terms of their native content. And he gives you really great examples of what not to do versus what you could do to be more successful in terms of tapping into that native content and language with that audience on that specific platform. Super, super helpful. I recommend you go get that book ASAP.
And so the next, what is it? One thing that we had a problem with as well, another thing that we had a problem with, because we had a lot of problems, as you could tell. One of the other things that we did was we were copying people. And we kept on seeing a lot of the leaders on their social media sites, on the way that they would talk and respond to their clients and their audience. And these people were, 6 and 7 figure earners. These people had different niches. These people were a whole different person than who we are as a team. And we were getting, training after training after training and following people. And then what we started to believe was that we just wanted to imitate them and just mimic them and just do exactly what they were doing on their social media sites, because they were getting massive results.
Yeah, that whole monkey see, monkey do, except we were doing it like verbatim.
We were doing exactly what, and it's not healthy, because of the fact that you're two totally different brands. Even if you're in the same industry, you're two totally different people, and you have two totally different niches and markets, and people who are, even if you have the same market, you have a different audience, if that makes any sense. You have different people within that same niche. So you have to figure out what works for you and not what works for them. Mm-hmm. What we like to say is you have to model, not copy. If you're new to this business and you're like, well, okay, I think I understand that. What we're saying is don't do what we're doing. Look at what we're doing and then make it work for yourself. Mm-hmm. Look at what these other people are doing. Ask yourself, why is it working? These are principles that we're all using, universal principles in sales and marketing and business that we're fine-tuning and refining and customizing to our own personal brand and audience.
Yeah, because what we noticed like very late after we did this, I mean, we spent a lot of time copying, not modeling, was we had tons of struggles because we felt like we felt there was a major disconnect with the team that we were attracting, with the type of people we were marketing to, and the just everything in general, pretty much, because the fact that, one, he and I have two totally different personalities, and the people that we follow all have their own different personalities. And so because of the fact that we're copying and we're not modeling, we were taking basically a script and removing any possibility of us being able to insert our own personality into that. Sorry, that's our business phone. Sorry about that. Break state. But it kept us from being able to not only insert our personalities, but to tap into and allow us to discover who we are as our own marketers, and then come together as a team of marketers. It made it to where it just basically removed us from our own business, in a sense, because, you know, when you're so busy copying others and not modeling them, you're so busy focusing on sounding exactly like them and acting exactly like them, that at the end of the day, you're stuck wondering, like, why isn't anything working, and why do I feel so weird? And it's because you're not being you. You're chipping away at who you are, because you're spending so much time trying to build up a carbon copy of somebody else. And if you were meant to be that person, you would have been that person. You wouldn't have been you. Does that make sense? Like, if I wanted to be Brandon, then I would have been born as Brandon. I wouldn't have been born as me.
Yeah.
And so you are you for a specific reason. That's why if you model versus copy, that gives you an opportunity to not only insert your personality, but to give you the space you need to define yourself as your own marketer, as your own entrepreneur, instead of stifling you.
And so you might be wondering, okay, well, what must I do then? What must I do? And the biggest thing that we could do to—
You did that on purpose.
I do. The biggest thing that we could do for you, and the biggest thing we did for ourselves, was to conquer one social media platform at a time. It wasn't— we went out there and we signed up, like I said in the beginning of this, we signed up on every single platform that was available. And then when we got this information, we didn't take down those accounts, because we plan on being a part of that community sooner or later, and reaching out our arms and doing things like that with everything that's available. That is where our audience is at. Now, mind you, if our audience isn't on Tumblr, I'm not going to create a profile for Tumblr. If our profile— I have though. No, I already have. Yes. I'm just saying that I'm not going to commit myself to that if our audience isn't there. And the only way that you could find that out is by doing a little bit of research, figuring out what that platform is built for, and then figure out if your product and service is alignment with what that platform is offering for their readers or their audience. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to do that. Once you master that first platform, then you move on to the second platform. And you do not— please don't make the mistake of stopping your production on your first one.
Yeah.
Because now that there's so many people who, oh, I've become successful, so I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. No, that's what's made you successful. So now scale up and go to another platform and figure out what works for that platform, and do the exact same thing and find out what works, build it up, create a success, start to build build relationships, gain leads, make sales, move on to the next platform. Mm-hmm. That's what we've been able to do. And it's been a big help to what we've been able to see as results, because there's no reason now for us to just push, submit, and then boom, it's out on everything. And then we just sit back and go, oh, well, why aren't the leads coming in?
Yeah.
Why isn't anything happening? Why? And if you felt like that, don't feel bad about yourself. Like, you're not alone. There's so many people who are new into the entrepreneur business or an online business that feel like, okay, well, if I just do this one thing, they tell me it's automated. They tell me I should wait. They tell me it's going to happen on its own time. So I'm just going to push submit. And
yeah, but we're not talking about your social media promotion. That is not what we're talking about.
And we're not talking about that at all. We don't encourage our team to ever just sit back. There's never just a moment where you just go, oh, push submit, and then sit back and wait.
Yeah.
That's not what we tell people.
Yeah.
There's always something you could do for your business. There's always something you could learn for your team. And there's always something you could be selling or training on. Plain and simple. So,
no resting on your laurels, people.
There's not. There's time for you to take for yourself, but that's after you master these things, because then that automation stuff becomes fun, because then you start seeing results that are going to allow you to enjoy your time away from your business in a way that nobody around you is doing. You know what I mean?
Well, especially, I think it's been so beneficial for us because the fact that, there's two of us. And so what one of the things that we realized when we were both creating accounts, right? So we had double accounts for like every social media site out there, was, with me, I realized, like, I hate Twitter. I hate it. I don't like it. Like, it is not my cup of tea at all. I mean, I remember when I thought I had to get a Twitter account for our business, and my first tweet, no joke, guys, my first tweet was, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually tweeting right now. My life is over. like that's my mentality I brought to it, because I just didn't connect with Twitter. It wasn't me. Whereas, so whenever we came to the conclusion that, hey, wait a second, pump the brakes, we've been doing things a little incorrectly, this is why. One of the first things I did was I sided with Relief, and I deleted my Twitter account like ASAP. So I'm like, yes.
And this was like 6 months ago.
I don't have to be on here anymore. One, because I didn't resonate with it. And two, the majority of the audience that connects with me versus Brandon is usually either on Facebook or Instagram, at least with my personality as far as our team goes. Because remember, we're partners, so we bring two different personalities to the table. But Brandon, when he recently created his new version of a Twitter account,
after implementing now all the things that we're sharing with you now,
he's been able to he's found that he enjoys Twitter, which is good, because that means I don't have to be on it. He can handle Twitter, whereas I can go and spend time promoting our stuff on the social media sites that I resonate with. And so, if you have access to a partner to help you do this, utilize them and have them do the platforms you don't want to do.
It's really huge. It really is, because I know for a fact that I'm just now getting into Instagram, and I'm just now getting into these other things, but she's already made herself a home on Instagram. So all I have to do is figure out what she's done that's worked and implement that into my own business. And that's a huge, and one of the biggest reasons why I love being a partnership, having a partner. It makes it so much easier when you don't have to, like she said, we had 15 accounts open, 15 profiles open. That's something that we learned the hard way. And if we would have had a partner who knew maybe a little bit more than we did, or had, someone telling us the way we're telling you, that's not the best way to do it, then at that moment, instead of wasting our time trying to engage and interact and things like that cost us made zero money for us in our business, now we're able to focus on one or two of those platforms and implement so much energy and everything into our business now, because that's where you should be focusing on, is your business. It's not about the what people are favoriting and retweeting and things like that. Like, that's going to happen if you just put out awesome content, and then you just get the same people out there. And if it matches your audience.
Exactly. Even if you put out awesome content on your social media sites, if it's not to the audience that it's designed for, no one's going to resonate with it. So if maybe that's the issue you're struggling with right now within your social media sites, that's something you might want to take a look at and consider the fact that maybe this is not being promoted to the right audience.
Right. And that's painful. That's painful when you end up
coming to that realization. That's also a lesson that we learned as well.
And this actually just came to us.
Time and money.
Yeah. And that lesson just was learned a few months ago, only a few months ago. And it basically took everything that we had worked for and made it much more difficult. And so what we found out is by simplifying our social media strategy, and by mastering one social media platform at a time, it's helped us increase our engagement from other people. It's helped us target people in a more specific manner, so that every one of our messages now are more, they're not perfect yet, but they're more in front of the people who want to hear what we have to say. And that's big contributing factor to us not spending multiple hours on needless platforms. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean,
you pretty much wrap that up for your nice little bow.
It's really cool when you can create a team, right, that we're doing right now, and then you get them to do things that you did, or you teach them things to prevent them from doing things that you did wrong. When you see that kind of behavior happen, and they come running to you and go, "Oh my gosh, it took you how long to get your first lead on Instagram?" And you go, "Oh man, it took me 8 weeks."
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, it took me like 1 week.
Exactly. Or a day, or one post. Those are the kind of things that are going to get you to go, "Man, I'm in the right business. Oh, I love this," because now I want to learn more so that I could do what? Give more and teach more.
And that's why we've come to the realization that, we don't mind talking about how badly we've flubbed up with our business in the beginning stages, because the fact that, we were new just like you, and, we were learning things that we didn't know before. And so, if we understand the painstaking process that you have the possibility of going through if you do not learn the correct information, and we can help you avoid it, by sharing the fact that we made that mistake and hey, from experience, you might want to go this way, not that way. If we can help you do that, like that's why we're here. That's why we have no problem now telling you, hey, we messed up. This is probably what you should do instead.
Yeah. And we don't think that we know it all. We don't.
No, we don't.
We don't at all.
It's a learning process every single day.
So if there's something on this hangout, like we said, that we missed or that we can improve on ourselves, that you're doing, that you're like, you know what, I could really help these guys. Don't be afraid to you know, shoot us an email or find us on Facebook or something like that. Message us, because we are always looking to team up with people who know more than us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just us being here saying, hey, we know how to do this, we know how to do this, which, I mean, it's great to learn from people. It's really awesome. But it's also great to show people that you care enough about them and their success to offer advice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're saying right now that we're open to hearing things from people if we're not doing the best possible job. Okay, we just want to keep that open for you because we do love hearing from people. But we think that this information today is going to change the way that you do social media from now on, because you might have had the same sigh of relief that she had. Now that we've mentioned, you do not need to be on every single social media platform there is available to you at this moment in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very difficult, like we mentioned, just to go over this a little bit again, it's very difficult to have something for everybody. And I can guarantee you, and there's not many guarantees in life, I can guarantee that you don't have a product for everybody. I can guarantee that.
Nope.
There's no way that you have a product that can match everybody's needs. So what is the next thing to do? And that's what we talked about this whole hangout, was to get yourself in front of the right group of audience on the right platform, saying the right thing with the right message.
Yeah.
And so those of you who just watched this, I bet you had that whole, you know,
like you were aiming.
Problem.
Yeah, you came on here because we don't like the word problem. You know, you came on here because like your goal, the challenge that you've realized for yourself is that you've been spending all this time aiming at building and bringing more awareness to your product, your service, your business, your company, whatever. And you've been using social media sites to do it because that's what you've been told to do. And while that is a good idea, you're realizing, okay, well, if that's what I'm supposed to be doing, why aren't I seeing my ideal results? Why am I not getting what I should be getting for my business? Why? That's the big challenge. That's the whole reason why we wanted to come and have this hangout with you guys and to talk with you and to share with you from our experience, our struggles, at how we were in that exact same challenge and we were able to overcome it because we discovered the solutions. And you know, one of the solutions we talked about with you today was mastering each platform individually so that you're not pulling focus when you're new. Like in your new stages, it's very important that you are laser focusing on your activities one at a time, versus trying to spread thin and master 75 things at the same time, because then you're not giving any attention to anything really. You're just wasting your time. A second solution would be to model after successful online entrepreneurs, you know, so find people within your industry, within your niche, whatever it is, and follow them and start paying attention. You know, how are they communicating on each social platform site they're on?
Not what are they saying?
Yeah, not what, how. Okay, and then pay attention to the language that's being used on Facebook versus Twitter versus Instagram versus YouTube versus Pinterest versus whatever else is out there, and notice that each one is a little bit different, and then simply model after that, right? Until you kind of like come into your own. Another one would be is obviously to create native content per platform you use, like we spoke about, and a great resource to help you get comfortable with recognizing what native content works best on which sites is the book we referenced, Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. Go grab your copy right now. That should be your new Bible from now on. And the last thing that we recommend as a solution to this challenge is the fact that you should start blogging for your business to build that awareness, and then use social media as a billboard to redirect that traffic back to your main hub, back to your main real estate online, which is your blog. One, it allows you to put the bulk of your value content on there and bring people off of social media to this one space versus trying to spread it thin every which way from Sunday on every site that's out there.
Right. That's huge. And so anybody right now watching who does not have a blogging platform of their own, we're going to go ahead and give you access to our one-of-a-kind Kalatu blogging platform. And there's a button right over to the right of your screen that you're going to have a chance to click right now, or whenever you feel that you've seen the value in it, and to join an awesome community of people who are blogging for profits. And we've been able to, like she said, take this blogging platform, create massive content, upload these messages and little things onto the social media platforms that we use as our billboard, and then direct traffic to our site so that we could then in turn for our business create leads, okay, generate leads, create customers, and build our team and sell things. Like, this is exactly what it's about. When you want to build a business online from home, the biggest contributing factor is using social media properly so that people can actually find you.
Mm-hmm.
And so to direct people to your blogging platform, that is going to be a big benefit.
I'm going to knock him out.
A big benefit that not a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of. And since you're here watching this, you're going to be first in line to say, okay, well, look, I'm going to give this a try, because these guys right now are, working from home. They're building teams. They're selling things from their blog. They're doing things that I've always wanted to do, and they're doing it online. Mm-hmm. And mind you, we didn't have any experience 18 months ago.
No.
So if you already have a blog, then mind you, do exactly what we're telling you to do and come back here and let us know what results you're seeing. Because that's going to be huge. If you don't have a blog, or if your blogging platform right now is kind of a little work involved.
Yeah, if you're stuck on if you are blogging for your business, but you're stuck like on a free site and you've been hit with warnings about the content you're using, or you maybe even second guess the security of your site, right? And
to do it,
just like all that tech coding stuff that you have to mess with in order to get it set up, if you're looking for something a bit better, a bit easier, a bit, simpler, then our blog platform is the answer to that solution. And the cool thing about it is that we're going to give you an opportunity to access our blog platform for an entire week for just $9. So you can see firsthand exactly how simple it is to set up, exactly how easy it is to get your blog up and running in as little as about 10 minutes without having to deal with all those technical coding hassle headaches that come with having to set up all your stuff yourself. Not only are you going to get all of that, you have tons of tutorials readily available to you as soon as you plug in to help you through the process. And you also have an amazing support staff, including access to Brandon and I, who will be there to help work with you to get your blog set up to where you can maximize the profits for whatever business you're building.
That's right.
And so I was just going to say, if you're on Google, watching this on Google, then you'll see a button right over to your right. If you're watching us on our Facebook page, then you'll see a red button below this video, below this hangout, that'll give you the same access. So just make sure that you take action. You click one of those buttons.
That's right. And like she said, it's going to be a $9, 7-day trial. And that trial, like she said, is going to be no risk. You're going to have a chance to get a 14-day money-back guarantee if for some reason we didn't do a good enough job in explaining to you or showing you the benefits or getting you started fast. Because that's going to be the only reason why you would ever want to say, I don't want this anymore. Okay? Because what we're going to be able to do for you is really awesome. It's really awesome because not only, okay, I'll give it not only are you going to go ahead and get that, there's more. Okay, everybody loves, there's more.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so you got the Kalatu access, you get the social media, you get us, you get the sports app, but you're also going to get a one-on-one coaching call. Okay, now this coaching call isn't going to be a 2-hour coaching call, so don't feel upset. It's going to be or get scared. It's going to be a 15 to 30-minute coaching call that honestly is $197 value that we're giving to you for free today if you go ahead and decide to take action and run with us on this blogging platform journey, okay? Because we've been able to see just an increase in the way that we live life by blogging. It's been able to bring a huge different aspect on how we're going to do business forever and how we're able to actually spend time with our family and do things that we love. And we get to just experience life on a whole nother level now. And that's something that we want you to enjoy as well. So, click the button, get access, join us today, and make sure to come back tomorrow. We'll see you on the next video, guys. Take care.